is an interesting number. Shefty, what can you tell us about Jeremiyah Love?
Randy, the Arizona Cardinals are going to field calls this week. There already have been exploratory conversations about the number 3 overall pick, but if they cannot find a trade partner, and if they stay at number 3, there seems to be an increasing chatter that the Cardinals could wind up taking Notre Dame running back Jeremiyah Love at number 3, which would throw off a lot of mock drafts that had Jeremiyah Love going 4, 5, 7, whatever it may be. But I can tell you that Jeremiyah Love certainly seems to be square in the conversation to go number 3 to the Arizona Cardinals, who will be taking phone calls this week about dealing out of number 3. We'll see if there's a team that's willing to come up. We'll see how far Arizona's willing to go back. We'll see if that combination comes together. But if it doesn't, you can understand why they take him. He would bring juice. He would bring sizzle. He would instantly become maybe the biggest superstar on their team, for the best player in the draft. There's a lot of reasons that a lot of teams believe that Love makes a lot of sense at number 3, and we'll see whether that comes to fruition on Thursday night.
I have such mixed opinion in my own head. I believe he is the best player in the draft. Again, I'm not an evaluator. I just aggregate what people say. I actually think he's the best player in the draft.
But?
Well, they're a bad team. And so if you're a bad team means you need a lot of things. And if you need a lot of things, I don't know that taking a running back number 3 overall. I mean, look what the Raiders took Ashton Genty last year.
Yeah.
He's a great player. We said a lot of the same things about him last year. He wasn't able to do anything. I know he's not as good as a prospect as Love.
Here would be what I push back. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Cardinals to try to trade out of 3. But if they don't, I think there's probably 4 or 5 like true difference makers in this draft if you talk to the draft experts.
Yeah.
Okay, number 1, he's best player in the draft. So you get a great football player. Number 2, you're more than likely in Arizona going to be on a rookie quarterback contract in the next year or 2. And then 3, running backs are in their prime now, right when they first come into the NFL. He's not going to be in his prime 8 years from now.
Right.
So get the best use out of him. The best way to become from a bad team to an improving and/or good team is to get a bunch of good football players. This guy's a great football player, and so I understand the position. I've talked about it a lot this offseason. I just believe he's the best player in the draft, and if you can't find a trade partner, and if you're Arizona, get the best player in the draft.
I hear you, and I agree with you on the best player in the draft. Graz is going to start looking at numbers and contracts, and he's going to say, go ahead, where would that put...
He would be the 7th highest paid running back in the league.
Okay, where's he going to be 4 years from now?
He would be guaranteed $52 million right away. So my point is, you're not getting any value on his rookie contract. Your best case scenario is he plays like one of the 7 best running backs in the entire league, and then you got to pay him again when he's extension eligible in 3 years. So in a salary cap league, that means you have to get value at other positions. If you draft Arvell Reese or David Bailey at number 3, he would be about the 40th highest paid edge rusher in the league.
But they might not be as good of a player.
I know you know this, but maybe not everybody who's watching does. The 3rd pick in the draft is going to get the same contract no matter what position he plays.
Right.
Whether he's quarterback, running back, edge rusher, kicker, whatever. Like that's all slotted. So that's why when we say it doesn't make sense to take a running back that high, it matters in a salary cap league where you're trying to get value over the length of a rookie contract so you can build out your team at other positions.
Now, as I hear all of that, I still say go out and get the best player in the draft.
Right.
But I wanted everybody to know and hear that. You got to hear both sides.
You can't you got to make a
producing
stand.
the show now.
And now still go get the best player in the
Travis
draft.
Etienne just signed for $50+ million, right?
Not guaranteed. I mean, like Travis Etienne would be making less per year than Jeremiyah Love if Jeremiyah Love's the 3rd pick.
So what you're hearing is the debate that's going on inside all of these buildings. Yes. That's exactly what they're talking about.
Led the league in rushing. He would be making less per year than
You've
Jeremiyah
got coaches
Love.
right now saying, get me the best player. And you've got aggregators of talent and general managers and people like that saying, but wait a minute, it's got to fit within this and that. And that's in a zero-sum game, which is a hard salary cap. That's the decisions that have to get made. Now, Shefty, here's where this thing gets interesting to me, because now we get into my world, which is I need to know who's going where. So let's live in a world where the quarterback goes 1 to the Raiders, the Jets take 1 of the 2 pass rushers. We have been living in a universe in which the expectation has been the Cardinals would then take whichever of the pass rushers doesn't go 2nd. Yeah. If all of a sudden Jeremiyah Love goes off the board 3, then we got ourselves a lot of fast. We have Tennessee at 4, we have the Giants at 5, Cleveland at 6, and Washington at 7. What does all of that mean?
One final thought on the Arizona Cardinals. They've used high picks on defensive linemen Darius Robinson, Zaven Collins, Walter Nolan. As good as some of those players might be, how's that working out? It's still an entertainment business, and there's no more entertaining player in this draft than Jeremiyah Love. Okay, now let's get past that, and let's say the Cardinals can't trade out, and let's say, for argument's sake, they stick at 3 and take Jeremiyah Love. What happens to Tennessee? I think people around the league believe that the Titans might not go pass rusher. And if they're not going pass rusher, then obviously there are a group of players that they could consider at that point in time. You could look at Sonny Styles. You could look at Carnell Tate. You could look at Orville Reese. Could you go in that pass rush mold? Or is there a team that decides it wants to trade up? Does Orville Reese or Bailey get to a certain spot where it's worth it for another team such as the Dallas Cowboys to try to come up to get a pass rusher that many thought would go 2 and 3? All of a sudden, they're there at 4 and 5. Again, if the Titans don't trade out and don't take one of them, I have a hard time imagining the Giants would bypass a pass rusher at 5. If they drafted a pass rusher, you say, well, they've always done that. They could always then look to trade Kayvon Thibodeau, who I think other teams might be eyeing from afar. There's a lot of scenarios that play out here, but if Jeremiyah Love goes 3, it changes a lot of different things and has a lot of ramifications.
Dallas, if Jeremiyah Love goes 3, Dallas should not go up in the draft, in my opinion. Dallas, for a lot of the flack that they get, have drafted incredibly well over the years. If you look at DeMarcus Ware, I think they took DeMarcus at 11. They took Des Bryant at 24. They took Zach Martin, I think, at 16. They took CeeDee Lamb at 17. They took Micah at 12. They are not one player away. If they sit there and take 12 and 20, more than likely, giving their track record, they're going to get one really good player and one good player. That's going to change their defense much more than taking all of those assets, going up and getting one maybe great player. They draft well in those spots.
They do.
I don't think Dallas should trade up.
The only pushback I would say to what Shefty just laid out, if you're Dallas and you have Orville Reese or David Bailey at the very top of the draft, and you're expecting those guys to go within the first 3 picks, and next thing you know, he mentioned maybe the Titans take a Sonny Styles or a Carnell Tate or somebody of that nature, and now right there at the 5 spot, you're looking and you're like, we never expected Orville Reese or David Bailey to be there, and we think this guy's a generational talent. To your point, they evaluate the draft really well. Then I think you start to entertain the fact of we don't want to miss out on an impactful defensive player. Yes, we may be able to get a good one and a really good one, but if there's a great one that's going to change our defense, we got to debate moving up for him.
Yeah, it just, again, it gets back to the issue of resource allocation. You have 12 and 20. You do not have a second-round pick. So I think if you're the Cowboys and you're going to spend both of those first-round picks on one player, you've got to be convinced it is the difference maker that gets you where you need to go. It would be unlike them. That Jerry Jones has a reputation for being sort of, reckless and aggressive. He's not. Certainly over the last 10 or so years in the draft, they've traded down more than they've traded up. Disciplined, right?
Yes.
So I would, if the Cowboys, I think they're going to be nimble. Like if somebody that they really like is getting close to 12 and they're worried they might not get him, I think they could make a trade up. But I know they don't want to trade both of those picks. The Mel Kiper mock last week had them getting a high second-rounder back from Cleveland and trading both those picks. It would have to be something like that.
The other team that comes into play if Jeremiyah Love goes 3 is Washington, who's sitting at 7.
Yeah.
Because if Love goes 3, and let's say the Titans take a Carnell Tate at 4, and then the Giants take a Tyson at 5, if I'm Washington, I want a dynamic offensive playmaker with Jaden Daniels going into year 3.
Yeah.
I need that. And so those 3 then dynamic offensive guys, Tyson, Tate, and Love, are all gone. I think then if you're Washington, you're kind of sitting there going, missed out if they don't become a team who tries to get up.
But they don't have any picks. That's the problem with Washington. They've traded most of their picks. So I think they have only 2 in the top 140.
And then you got Kansas City sitting there at 9, and
They should go up too.
Everybody go up.
Go ahead, Shefty, get in here.
Well, look, you're going to find a lot of teams in this draft. Most teams are willing to go back. The big question is who really, in the end, is willing to come up. That is the big question. How many teams out there are going to be willing to trade up? And I think a lot of them won't be willing to trade up until we see the board fall how it will, and they can go make a move. And I think you might see the draft being manipulated and some teams coming up a few spots. I don't know how many earth-shattering moves we're going to get, like there were last year when Jacksonville traded a haul to move up to number 2 to go get Travis Hunter.
3 is the tipping point. If the Cardinals stay put and take Love, I think then we get movement. Yeah. If somebody goes up to 3, I would imagine it's for Jeremiyah Love. That's going to be like the tipping point for me.
I mean, it could be for the edge rusher the Jets don't take. I mean, that could be a guy somebody goes up for.
Yeah, and it does seem to me you can always make a trade if you want to. It's just a question of what you're demanding to get in return and how you view the value on all of those things. I think these top 6, 7 picks are going to be fascinating to watch.
The Chiefs,
I did not mean that.
The Chiefs, for me, I want the Chiefs to go up and get Tyson. I mean, I'm that much a fan of them. Again, I think Tyson's OBJ. I think he's in play at 4. I think he's in play at 5. I think he's in play at 7. I think he's in play at 8. If I were the Chiefs, I'd love him at 9. And the Chiefs have a great track record with medicine and how they treat their players when it comes to keeping them healthy.
Oh, by the way, the NFL draft is 3 days away. It's in Pittsburgh. It starts Thursday night, 8 Eastern, and we will have every pick once again right here on ESPN with all our usual expert analysis. The draft will also be on an NFL network, and as always, ABC will have coverage focusing on the prospects' journey to the draft. It's going to be an awesome week. Meanwhile, coming up, we talk about Kansas City. Could they trade up? Could they move back? Graz has all the latest information on the Chiefs as we work our way towards Thursday night, plus drama in Detroit. The number 1 team in the East up